Hey everybody, we're going to go live with some more sealed content here this morning from Early Access. Good morning to everybody on the US side, and good afternoon if you're viewing from Europe, and Jane if you're viewing from Asia. I do know a few words from Japanese, just a few, only a few. Anyway, we've done two seal pools so far. We've streamed one. The other one I did not stream. I was doing some tinkering and experimentation I didn't think was going to be very exciting for content. So first time we went 2-3 with the red-white deck, and the tinkering that I did was went 4-3 with a white-green deck that was centered around making a lot of indestructible knights, seeing how we could reliably get to turn 8, which was actually very difficult to do. There's a bunch of people already talking about, speed of the format, which is so difficult to do early on, and I don't believe in making a lot of, definitive statements in that way. Is for sure not this early, but I will say that the format feels mid-rangey in this, that it feels like a lot of games are going to end between turns, let's say 7 and 9. And the reason for that is that it feels like there's a lot of bombs, and there's a lot of things that if you don't answer them immediately, they're going to end the game in a turn or two. They're just too difficult to overcome. Let's put it this way: the last two formats we've had in Ether Drift and Tarkir, they've both had the potential to create board stall situations. Not that can't be overcome, but where you get some kind of a board stall occurring at some point during the game, and that lasts for a couple of turns. It does not feel like that's going to be the case in Final Fantasy. There's haymakers to be had, and it feels like if there's a board stall, there's any number of cards that upon entering will just obliterate that board stall and just make it not a thing. So anyway, that's just feeling so far, but that's kind of important to note. I mean, this is just with me playing sealed, right? So that's also really atypical for a sealed format, and I wonder if that's going to make a more exciting sealed format. That the closest thing to that to me recently was March of the Machine, where there were enough bombs that everybody was going to get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 in their sealed pools. The question is how quickly can you get to your bombs, and then how efficiently can you play them. And so anyway, that's what it's feeling like to me. You can think about that looking ahead to your pre-release this weekend. Let's dive in and look at another seal pool here. See what we've got. We're still getting good seal play in the queues this morning. All right. Okay. We get 9 rares again, averaging a rare and a half per pack, and there are immediately some things that stand out. If you were watching yesterday's stream, my red-white deck, which was pretty good, which in fact had Clive in it, lost to this card in one of the games, and this card stood out immediately as a mega bomb in the format. It's got a huge cost, 5 and 3 black, but demons you control have menace, lifelink, and haste, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, you make one. Exile up to 1 target creature card from a graveyard, not necessarily yours. If you did that, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 5/5, which by the way has menace and lifelink and haste. So go and make a copy of the best thing from any graveyard. By the time you're casting something for 8 mana, there's stuff in graveyards. And of course, if you're playing like, black-green or something, or even some versions of black-blue, you're going to be able to mill yourself and put stuff in your graveyard and so forth. But this is brutal. I mean, it's creating something the turn it comes in, and then let's say you kill it. That thing is still around. Now, that might not have Menace, Lifelink, and Haste once you remove Ardyn, but you know what Black's also really good at? Getting cards back from its graveyard, like Ardyn after it's destroyed. I mean, this card is just broken in half. We got a bonus sheet rare here, the version of Atraxa, which has has always been a limited all-star if you can reliably cast it. In this version, it's Sephiroth, or this particular version of Sephiroth. Card types are kind of a thing in Final Fantasy because there's lots of artifacts, and then there's enchantment creatures because of the saga creatures. So that's and in fact, saga is just a flavor of an enchantment, so that's not its own card type. But the point is, there's enough artifacts and enchantments floating around. There's enough. They're common enough that you should reliably be able to get a number of different cards. Not to mention casting your 7/7 Flying Vigilance, Death Touch, Lifelink. Let's see. Clive, we played with yesterday. Great card. Particularly good in any aggressive strategy. The perfect top end of your curve in an aggressive strategy because you just refill your hand. And if you're going wide at all, you often... yesterday we drew 7 with this card. It was great. Then we get a mythic equipment. Equipped creature has base power and toughness XX, where X is your life total. If you could play this equipment early in the game, you could make a 20/20, but that's not going to happen, right? So, you think about when you're going to play this, it's going to be probably at least turn 6, and then you're equipping it on turn 7. It would be better if you had like the white 4-drop creature that allows you to equip any equipment for 1 at the beginning of combat, or equip 1 equipment for 1. You get to pick 1 equipment and equip it for 1. That's a 4-mana white 2/2 weapons vendor. But what's your life total going to be like at turn 6 or 7? That's the question, right? So this is not an auto play by any means. We've got a double white here. When you cast a legendary spell, draw a card. Great if you're playing a lot of legendaries, like Legendaries Matter. Exile target permanent. So you exile your opponent's thing for a massive cost, but then you transform it into an indestructible creature, and that creates counters and gives temporary indestructible and still draws cards. And now it's not when you cast, when you put a counter on a legendary. So, you can kind of think like, is there maybe starting to be a legendary package, like maybe some kind of a white-black based deck between maybe these 3 cards? It's possible. Got to pay attention to the double white and the triple black, which is a big deal. Wandering Minstrel, green-blue, which probably means it wants to play towns. Lands you control enter untapped. That's great for towns cards, especially dual lands. You look at Midgar over here, which normally enters tapped, not with the Minstrel. Beginning of combat, if you control 5 or more towns, create a 2/2 elemental token that's all colors. So it pumps out 2/2s if you can get to domain, basically. And I'm sorry, you don't necessarily have to get to domain. I'm conflating 2 abilities. It's early in a format and early in the morning here. Please forgive. If you control 5 or more towns, doesn't matter what colors they are. But then you can pay 3 and all colors of mana, so 8 mana total, to give all creatures you control +X, where X is the number of towns you control. So you can pump your whole team for a very expensive cost. This is good in a Towns deck, even if you can't pump the team, because you're just creating 2/2s every turn. It's a snowball, must be answered. The Masamune, we've got 2 legendary equipments here. As long as the equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked. Well then. I mean, Sephiroth, our Atraxa, would love to have this, right? First strike and must be blocked. It's one of the only keywords that it doesn't have. So even if you got an opposing Death Touch creature, our Death Touch wins. We get lifelink, and if a creature dying causes a triggered ability of this creature or an emblem you own to enter, that ability triggers an additional time. So if a creature dies, and do we have anything on the board right now that does that? Not that we can see. It's a pretty specific, that's a pretty specific statement, right? Pretty specific statement. Von Street Thief. When one or more scouts, pirates, and or rogues, note that it's a scout, deal combat damage, exile a top card of your player's library. You may cast it if you don't create a treasure token. It gets a counter when you cast spells you don't own, so it steals their spells. Pretty good. Notably, Clive is not a scout or a pirate or a rogue, so we'd have to look for some synergy there. But you know, you've got 2 pretty powerful red legendaries that seem to go together. Clearly, Clive doesn't go with, you know, some of these other cards, but, you know, let's go see what we can build out of this. Let's see. I'm going to do the typical here. I think I might build this one in Arena. I don't have a lot of time this morning, so let's see what we can build right here in Arena. Let's make this a little bigger. Let's go and look at our rares. Let's just throw some things together here and see what comes out of it. What happens if we were to build something around kind of this core and try to go white, black, you know, maybe we should actually just start by saying, can we play Atraxa? Let's go and look at all of our cards up here, and let's go see what we have for lands. We've got a white-black land. We've got a red-blue land. We've got a green-blue land. We've got a... I mean, if you're looking at like Wandering Minstrel, we actually have 5 towns. That's interesting. Oh, we even have point scoring. That's funny. I saw somebody watch somebody stream yesterday where they won a game by scoring 10 points. Format achievement achieved. Anyway, let's see here. We get a nice white-black uncommon here. 2/4 for 3 that when it attacks, you create a 2/2 legendary. And by the way, that repeated creation of the legendary works really well with Vaynot, right? So this is we got some definite synergy going on there. That's some sweet art, right? Spell can't be countered. Counter their spell for white blue. Okay. We've got a Forest Cycler, Summon Fat Chocobos, great green card. We've got Vanille. We've got Vanilli. Do we have Millie? Let's go see if we have Fang. Do we have Fang in black? We do not. So there's no shenanigans going on here with being able to meld into Ragnarok, the 7/6 with a bajillion keywords. Let's see. Search for a land card. I mean, and put a counter on something that, you know, that allows you to play Atraxa a little bit. If you start in green, again, these multiple pips are hard. Right? We may have to scrap pretty early playing Atraxa. I mean, it's it's a massive cost in the first place. Atraxa is almost a plan unto itself, and you're almost playing 5-color at that point. And we've got a pretty good white-black core here already. And our green has a few powerful cards, but search for 2 land cards or towns with different names. Put them on the battlefield tab. I mean, Reach the Horizon would allow us to, for example, go and get 4 of our colors. Like Insomnia and Baron gives us 4 colors. Insomnia and Guadasalam gives us 4 colors. So we've got some, go get some land kind of stuff going on. We could try to build a 5-color situation, but your 5-color situation is really going to be for like playing Atraxa. Maybe then you go like green-blue and you play Wandering Minstrel. You play Omega at the top end or something. And where, I mean, in addition to Sephiroth, of course. You could maybe do that. Let's see. Commune with Beavers kind of lets you go and get a land early. Oh, double Choco Comet. Choco Comet's a great removal spell. Removal plus play to the board. That goes well with Clive, of course. But your red is pretty thin. Summon a Fritz, great. Thunder Magic's great, of course. There's several good red cards in there. But what do we have with this white-black shell? We have double Phoenix down. The reason that's important is because that can let us get back Rufus and VNOT. We have Restoration Magic to protect our amazing things. We have You're Not Alone, which is a good protection spell, and gets bigger if you have more creatures. Paladin's Arm, a couple of good early plays. Summon a 3/3 that gives your creatures +1/+0. That's just a basic, common enchantment creature. Summon Primal Garuda, deals 4 damage to a tap creature, which is good if we want to play slow, which we kind of do if we're playing to Ardyn. Cloudbound Moogle, I haven't been interested in yet. So let's see. Let's start doing that with. Let's just start building with white black and see where that goes. What happens if we play those? And then sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards. I mean, maybe. 2/1 enters tapped. During your turn, it has First Strike and Death Touch. I mean, for a 1-drop, like, it's fine. We may or may not play it, I guess. Black Mage's Rod just creates a 1/1 that plays off of non-creature spells. I'm not going to put that in quite yet. Let's see. Top 3 cards of your library, 1 in your hand, the rest in your graveyard, which that helps you dig for your bombs when you need them. And remembering that Phoenix down, we have 2 of them to get things back in your graveyard already. I like Revelation here. Fight On goes great with Revelation. Return 2 creatures from your graveyard to your hand. Awesome. Vincent's Limit Break. That is more protection, by the way, for your powerful cards. I like playing at least one of them here. What are our ETBs looking like? VNOT, not so much, because even with other creatures, it's only if you cast. It's pretty sweet with enchantment creatures, I'll tell you that. Because when you get to the last chapter of the saga, and they're going to die, all you do is you play Limit Break as an instant, and when its sacrifice itself trigger is on the stack, and then you get the saga creature back. So that's pretty sweet. Shambling Seath enters tapped. When you play a non-creature spell, you can get it back from your graveyard to your hand. Mill 3 cards and gain 3 life. That helps you stay alive to play your big stuff, and we don't care about milling. We have some graveyard synergy and interaction going on here. 4/4 that when it comes in, each opponent discards, loses 2 life, and exiles the top 3 cards of their library, and it's got swamp cycling. I really like that. If we're moving toward more of a late game deck, and you can swamp cycle this, you can always get it back later with some of our graveyard retrieval. You can't get it back with Phoenix Down because it's not mana value of 4 or less. But you can get it back with like where are we with Shinra no, excuse me, with Fight On. You can get it back with Fight On. And the idea of swamp cycling to get to this triple black. I mean, look, if you can play Ardyn, I would say 90+% of the time you're winning the game. So how can we reliably get there is the question. How can we defeat like go wide strategies and early bombs? The main weakness that I'm seeing here is where in the world is our removal? We just have none. Like, where in the world is our removal? We can keep our own stuff alive, and we can get it back, but we can't remove anything. Like, this is removal, and it's replayable removal in a certain sense. If it's 4 damage to their tapped creature, but we really don't have any. I mean, it's too bad because we're touching black and we don't have any black removal at all. We've got Lionheart that can, like shock something, but that's just so tiny and it comes so late. You'd rather shock it early if you're trying to last for a long time. Removal doesn't matter as much if you can get to lifelinking yourself, so that's something. And Ardyn does allow you to lifelink too, so there is something to be said for staying alive and just rolling over the top of them. We could try it. We could try building it one way and seeing how that goes. Is there anything that we can splash? Because we've got those other lands. Unfortunately, they don't touch either of our current colors. That's too bad. And splashing is so dangerous when your best cards are multi-pipped like this. Let's see. Let's play a couple of Malboros. Let's play a Phantom Train. Let's play a Black Mage's Rod just to play a little crappy creature. Where are we? 10 creatures. Play another Limit Break to keep things alive a little longer, maybe. Maybe we play a Lionheart to ping something. We're not going to be the ones with the high life total. We're not playing that mythic right there. First strike and it must be blocked. I don't think that's going to matter to us. Play Pandora just for additional terrible removal. Surveil will help us get to our stuff, but we don't really want to be spending mana doing that early on. Exile stuff from your graveyard, take another turn. We can't really afford to splash here. We've got so many pips. We can get creatures back, I guess. Do we want to get multiple creatures? We have so many things in our three spot. I don't think we want to do that. Let's just play another Limit Break. Let's see how this goes. I think I want to play one less Plains and one more Swamp. Because, yeah, that gets us to 10 black sources. I'm looking at Ardyn and our double Malboros here. It's going to be so hard for me to not call this Marlboro and imagine this is like some like beholder that is a chain smoker. It's going to be so hard. It's a result of seeing more Marlboro ads when I was a kid growing up than playing Final Fantasy. I only played Final Fantasy 1, never played any of the others. I've actually gotten back into Final Fantasy 1. I own a NES Classic that my kids love and allows me to get nostalgic every once in a while. Anyway, where are we here? We're basically even with, well, creatures and non-creatures. Keep remembering that this mix is not going to look right because of job select cards. Like every job select card is a non-creature, but it creates a creature, right? Which is beautiful for things that care about non-creature spells, like Black Mage's Rod is going to ping your opponent. That's not really our plan. It's just a creature, but Black Mage's Rod is job select. Paladin's Arms have job select. So you basically need to reverse these two numbers. This is functionally more like 1310, and we have lots of stuff that cause creatures to come back and live. Oh, by the way, don't play Vincent's Limit Break on your 1/1 hero tokens that are created with these things, because they're not coming back, right? Those are tokens, not cards. So it's not returning to the battlefield tapped. And you also cannot play it on the equipment. So it's not like, first of all, the equipment is not going to die, and you have to target a creature and not target an artifact or an equipment. So anyway, just a PSA there. But lots of ways of getting stuff back. Double Phoenix down to get back any of our early stuff. Shambling Seath we can get back anytime we play a non-creature spell. We have 13 non-creature spells. Fight On, we're getting that we would like to reserve for getting our bigger things back, like maybe a Swamp Cycled Malboro, or like, heaven forbid, get Ardyn back if a game goes that long. We would like to play Ardyn and win. That is a major plan of this deck. And let's see with like VNAT, how many legendary creatures do we have? We have VNAT, we have Rufus, who's legendary, and you can turn this into an engine, right? Because you can attack with Darkstar. They either have to let the damage through, or they like block and kill Darkstar, and then you attack with Rufus again, and then you create Darkstar. Now you're not casting a legendary spell to draw a card. I'm mainly looking at having legendary creatures around for if you flip VNAT. VNAT is removal. It's super expensive removal, but it is removal, and then it creates a big problem in a 4/4 indestructible that can block anything and not die, and is putting creatures on things. So we have two late game engines. Ardyn's way better than VNAT is, but VNAT is not a thing, and the fact that we can recur VNAT in about 4 different ways is pretty sweet. So let's give this a try. Let's see how this goes. If this is a total disaster, we will consider playing or trying to put together something with either Atraxa or with our Balmy red cards. However, the other thing to note is, like, we're certainly not playing like red-white aggro here. We might consider playing some kind of grindy red-black with red removal, possibly. Red providing some removal. Red wasn't a very deep color for us, but it did have a little bit of removal. It had at least 1 thunder magic, maybe 2, which would help us remove early things. We could like basically sacrifice the whole white idea, the whole white legendary anything, and we could go red black, grindy, red blow up your stuff until we can get to play our black bomb. But let's see how this goes. Probably going to have time to play like 2 or 3 games right now, and then I'm going to plan to play the rest of these games at the very end of early access, like the last hour of early access. Early access ends at noon Central Time today, and I'll probably play the rest of the games between 11 and noon Central if you want to return for that stream. There we go. Matches haven't been too bad, even early in the morning. Goddess of Blunder. Well, if Goddess of Blunder plays like their namesake, then we'll plan on feasting on our opponent's mistakes. Let's see how it goes. Good initial keep. We can be the white-black land tapped on turn 1. Black Mage's Rod on turn 2. Curving out into Rufus with our other 2 lands. Malboro for later. So this is a get on board early start. Remember, we are not aggressive, right? We are not an aggro deck, so we don't need to attack all over the place. We're totally happy to trade things off, that's for sure. We got a Phoenix down to be able to get back Rufus now. This is shaping up really well. If you start to look ahead at our next turn, like Lionheart can ping Tifa, which is great because they're probably gonna do some Tron thing if they can and pump her so they can double her power. Anyway, that's a possible turn 4 if we draw land. If we don't draw land, we can cycle Malboro next turn, and we can then play Phoenix down and cycle Malboro, play Phoenix down, get things like Rufus back. We have Fight On to get the Malboro back. We're set up pretty well. Now we want to attack here because we're totally fine trading with their creature that's likely to be getting better than our creature. We don't have any problem with that. Great. Double Tifa's Flower. Awesome. Do it again. Do you have the 3-mana green card that goes and finds a land so that you can make Tifa a 4/2? But notice that only Tifa's power gets doubled. I mean, it's only a 2-mana creature, so it's still pretty sweet. 2-mana creature with trample. But 4/2 doesn't attack well into our 2/4. That 2/4 is a pretty sweet blocker, right? All right. So we attack with both creatures here. We create the 2/2. We have You're Not Alone to buff one of our creatures, which, by the way, we're going to create a 2/2. That's going to be our 3rd creature. We can give ourselves +4/+4. That's pretty sweet. So we are fine attacking with both here because we're likely to do more damage than Tifa does on the crackback. And plus we've got the 2/2 as a blocker that could kill Tifa if they don't pump her toughness. Okay. Destroy target permanent, which we can get back with Phoenix down. Okay, fine. Go for it. We still get the 2/2, so that's pretty sweet for us, right? We hurt them, and now we cycle the Malboro. We go and get a swamp. Look at those sweet looking swamps. That's a nice full art. That's a cool looking full art land. Looks more like a mountain than a swamp, but we'll forgive them because the art is sweet. Domenico Cava. Well done. Well done. So we'll play this, and then we'll play... I would rather play Phoenix down with the threat of getting Rufus back because we don't have any other creatures right now than holding up You're Not Alone. I'll ping them for 1. That's going to be annoying. We got the 4th land, so we can play Lionheart and just remove Tifa if we sense that they're, trying to build some Tron strategy. We hope that they don't play something that puts a counter on Tifa so that we can destroy it with Lionheart. But also just remember our deck's plan. Our deck's plan is to go long. So we're fine if this game turns into a bunch of messing around. And they're forest cycling, which means they're not hitting their lands in stride, which is great for us. That's some stumbling, and that stumbling, hey, there's another Malboro. Remember what our plan is, like, come Ardyn, usurp. That's our plan. Let's see if they're holding up some kind of protection spell. They're Restoration Magic is the single white protection spell that can give a creature hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. But we don't have anything better to play here. We might as well just play Lionheart and try to remove their thing. We'll ping them for 1. If we can remove Tifa, we can attack. Oh, that's great. So that shows us there's no hold up there. They don't have a protection spell. We're functioning as the beatdown here, even though we have a deck that says I don't need to be the beatdown until much later. Okay, so they're playing those. They've played two of those white, destroy tap creature for cheap cards. So they seem okay with playing the late game too. But when you have Ardyn, I like your late game better than your opponent's almost every time. Let's see. What should we do here? Do we need to get anything back? We could get Rufus back with Fight On. We could also equip Lionheart for 2. Actually, we can do both those things, and that's fine. Do we want to get the 6th land first? Do we want to save Fight On and just use Phoenix down? Yeah, that's better. Use Phoenix down for 2, get Rufus back, play Rufus. Yeah, I like that better. I like that better, because Phoenix down can only get mana value 4 or less anyway. It's not getting the Malboros back. So, and now let's see, you land cycle this Malboro. This is the play. You get a swamp. Now we've got, we don't have enough swamps to do it, but that's too bad. Yeah, I forgot we already played a land for the turn. But you see what I'm trying to do here, right? Like, I like to get to 8 mana, and now we have both Malboros in yard, which means we can play Fight On. Like, imagine your next turn. Pretend you don't draw another card. They just cycled, so they have nothing good to play right now. Yeah, they're drawing cards. They have no answers in hand. I'm not quite sure if they have like pump spells for creatures they don't have or what's going on over there, but we're in great shape. So, and how we draw Ardyn. That's do you see how we're setting up to this card? Like, we're still not able to play it, but we've at least cycled enough to get our lands. Okay, so now ignore that you drew Ardyn, because here's what my thinking was. You play the swamp, okay? You equip. Doesn't really matter. I'll equip Rufus because I want Rufus attacking every turn. We attack. By the way, we win the game because we play You're Not Alone for +4/+4. But you have Fight On to be able to get stuff back too. So we're gonna play this. If they counter it somehow, then we keep playing and we still have long game. But that worked pretty well. Our opponent absolutely stumbled at the beginning, so we can't use that as some kind of representation of how this deck's going to do all the time. But you can see some of the synergies and some of the aspects of our deck definitely played well together. No question. If you have any questions or why certain things were played, or you have corrections or caught a mistake that I made, I don't pretend to be perfect. Feel free to put stuff in chat. All right, we have nothing. We could play Revelation right away, and it's got flashback, so we could use this to kind of set up our draws. Like, we're going to be able to play a summon next turn, but we don't care about putting stuff in our yard. And so, like, again, you can look at some of these things and say, well, what do we want to put in our hand? This puts some removal into our hand. This is probably better removal. Almost certainly better removal for us than Lionheart is, because it deals 4 damage. Yes, it's to a tap creature, but we're planning on letting our opponent attack past us, and it creates a 3/3 flyer. So it goes to board and hits something. We already have Fight On in hand. Malboro, so we can get Malboro back. Lionheart is kind of whatever. It's like a 20th to 23rd card. So we're going to put Garuda into our hand. We hope to draw our 4th land. I was actually thinking about putting Malboro into our hand so we could swamp cycle it. But we've got to play on turn 3. We play the Chocomog. It gives our other creatures +1/+0, fine. And then we hope to draw our 4th land, even if we stumble on one turn and we miss a land drop. Ardyn, there's Ardyn, that's great. Even if we miss a land drop next turn, then we can play we don't really want to play Fight On. Man, they're doing a lot of dinking around. Look at that. There's some 5-color shenanigans going on here. You can already tell, right? All right, Tunberry's fine, especially right now because we have a we missed our land drop. So let's see. I hate to waste Fight On, but we already have our best creature in our deck, in our hand. We can't Fight On and land cycle the same turn though. That's super annoying. We might just have to do this. We might just have to attack. This is at least one of the creatures with 4 chapters, so it sticks around for a while. Play Tunbury. Tunbury comes in tapped. We have You're Not Alone as like a combat trick. We really would like to draw a 4th land next turn, though. We have lots of potential plays. We have the Summon, which we'd rather hold up for when they have a tap creature. But we could play Phantom Train. Phantom Train's sweet because it can sacrifice one of your saga creatures as an instant speed action while the saga creature's death triggers on the stack. Okay. That's when they tap that for mana and we kill it. It's gonna feel good. So we just play. We attack with the 3/3, and then we play Phantom Train here. Because you realize this creature's dying next turn, right? So we play this, and then what we want to do is we want to put a stop on our upkeep and draw step. We actually may want to go to full control here. Do they have a counter? They do. Oh, that's too bad. Dang. That's kind of an annoying counter, but a good counter spell. Because we could have taken advantage of sacking that. And then, I mean, yeah, and then oh, that's not good. That's not good. Not good at all. That's a sweet creature. That's 6/6 that gives +2/+2 and trample. Sweet creature. Let's see. Get Malboro back. We can. But not this turn. I think we want to blow up their mana dork just so that they can't give it +2/+2 and trample next turn. We can attack with the Tunberry. I mean, we're going to eat a 6/6, which isn't great. But we can hold up the combat trick and do what? Not enough. Do we want to attack here or just stall until we get to 8? And the thing is, Gladiolus can start to snowball a little bit. We do have a 3/3 flyer. You know, they're kind of on a clock here. They can't block the 3/1 because it's got first strike and death touch on our turn. It's only a 3/1 this turn because it's getting the Stampede from the Summon Chocomog, but let's see. This turn we can deal 3. Next turn we could deal 3, 5, 7. That's 10 damage. We're getting close to a clock. Yeah, I think we attack here. They don't know we have the combat trick. If we draw nothing else good next turn, Like, the only non-playable card we would draw would be our second Malboro. And if we draw that, we cycle it and then play Fight On and get both Malboros back. Oh, then they go. They're just playing way too many big things. This, oh my gosh. And they're going to play a land and make Omega 10-10 with Trampled. That's going to be such a huge problem. Oh, we really needed Vaynot on board so that we could exile literally anything they had. God, Gladiolus is a problem. That's going to be, I think, one of the best... That's going to be one of the best uncommons, I think, in the format. Tap a permanent and put a million stun counters on it. Well, that ends our slowdown plan, doesn't it? Sure does. We can gain 3 life with by paying 2 with this. Hexproof and indestructible. That's actually super useful because even though they're going to get trample, we can, like, if they attack with both Gladiolus and Omega, we don't die, right? So we have to tap. We have to tap mana very carefully here. We're not going to have enough mana to do it. Shoot. I really want to... We have to play Fight On. And we have to do it like this. We'll return these 2 to our hand. You know, Malboro is not great. We can't Swamp Cycle it right now, unfortunately. I really wish we could and then hold up only Restoration Magic. But we can't afford to do that. Gain 3. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Love it. Another removal spell? If you have another removal spell, we lose. Double removal spell? Double removal spell. Good game. Nicely done. Okay, we will concede to your 14 damage. Yeah. Yeah, that was rough. That showed that absolutely showed the weakness in our deck, right? Yeah. 6/6 for 6 with upside. I mean, it's so good. For an uncommon card, like, it's exactly the thing that green, that, you know, like some red-green stompy plan wants to do. And then you love playing that card on anything later than turn 6. You know, if you play that on turn 7, you play it first, you play the land, you give something else +2/+2 and trample, so they have this tiny window where they can remove it before you play the land, right? But even if they remove the 6/6 and they spend their removal spell on the 6/6, which is not going to be getting done with most of the damaging spells, you do have the red. You have the 5 mana red deal 6 that also destroys an equipment. But aside from that, unless you're playing Thunder Magic for 8 mana, you know, you're playing one of your more premium destroy or exile anything removal spells, and if you do that, they're in a lot of cases still getting the land trigger, which means they're still enabling attack of something else, which is presumably big because they're playing it in red-green. Like, it's for an uncommon, it's pretty great. I mean, imagine the fact that you could have potentially a couple of those in the same deck. And then play that with, I don't know, some rares. It's pretty good. All right. So we had kind of a close to best case scenario in game 1 and kind of a close to worst case scenario in game 2, like opponent plays multiple big stompy things and our deck is weak in removal. Maybe we'll use this as the tiebreaker to see if this might be my last game right now anyway. I gotta go coach a girls basketball practice. But maybe we'll use this as the tiebreaker about whether we keep this deck as is or whether we try another iteration of these cards. Yeah, I agree on the Malboro Swamp Cycle earlier also. One thing I did not note about Tunberry, this is my first time playing that card or seeing that card even against me, but one thing I did not note, which I now note about Tunberry, is it doesn't just come in tapped, it comes in tapped with a stun counter on it. So it's not attacking for a while. Of course, you play it early in the game, you're still totally fine with it being a 1-drop in a slow deck. But because it's enabled for an attack later. It's going to be really interesting to see how that card, where specifically that card fits into the format. It feels like it's something that's going to want to carry counters later, potentially. Definitely not an aggressive card. Oh, this is gross. Well, I mean, we have Malboro Cycle. I might keep this, actually. You know, we're not playing Ardyn anytime soon anyway. And we can play Paladin's Arm on 3. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. At worst, we play 2 planes and cycle Malboro and then play Paladin's Arms on 3. And we got a swamp anyway. This is super great. Super great. Play as many swamps as possible. Will this be a game where we finally get to play Ardyn? We've seen it. We've seen Ardyn in every single one of our 3 games so far. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, Black Mage's Rod. Make a 2/2. Kill their rat and be happy about it. Their Chocobo is going to grow. That's going to be a problem. I would very much... we might actually hold... We might not block something this turn. Because we might play Limit Break and make our creature a 5/2 to take out their Choco. I think we're going to do that. Limit Break doesn't bring it back either. All right, what are we discarding? What do we not care about? Revelation, because we can play it with Flashback. Planes. Okay, no. No. Paladin's Arms stinks at Limit Break. We don't have a creature that Limit Break will actually get back. We'll make it big, but let's just play the board and see what happens. Haha. You take 1. No, we will not attack. They're playing Sultai colors. What are the shenanigans? We've got to watch out for that 5 mana 3/3 green black uncommon that when it comes in gives -X for the number of cards in your graveyard, number of creatures in your graveyard. I forget. It kills something most of the time. That's going to be a very common turn 5 play for anybody playing green-black with double green available. That's also in the running for one of the best uncommons in the set, I think. Very splashable too. So it only requires 1 non-green pip. With turn 1 Saj's Chocobo, you mean are we going to get to play Ardyn this turn? Yeah. You're right, probably not. Oh, now we're touching red. Stop that. Stop it. Yeah, awesome. And you're at 4/5. We'll trade both creatures here for the Chocobo. Want to attack? Come on. Do it. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Could play your limit break for 3 and make a 5/2. And actually, we're buffed by the equipment, so yeah, that's actually really nice. Oh, that, see, stop. Don't do that. Stop that. Stop that. I think we're going to eat the rat. What are you going to play for 8 million mana over there? I don't like this at all, but I'm going to do it anyway. I might should have taken all the damage there, but anyway, we'll see. Play the swamp and pray. Gain 3 life, make a 2/3. It doesn't help us. 5/6 is going to become probably a 6/7 next turn, and we can kill it. Limit break will make us a 5/2, and we're getting +2/+1 from the equipment, so we can get to 7 power out of nowhere. That's pretty cool. We don't want to cycle Malboro here because we've already played a land and we need the 3rd mana for limit break. I think we hold up here and we pray that they don't have a removal spell. Awkward spot. We might be losing the rubber match here. Maybe chat can vote right now for whether we go like red black grindy if we lose this match and reconstruct the deck, or whether we go like, you know, green base, try to play Atraxa. Nice thing about only having one viewer right now is you get the deciding vote. All right. Out of mana except for a treasure token. If they have, let's see. If they've got the weight protection spell held up, tip of the hat. All right. Commit to it. Come on, come on, commit to it. It's not like we're in good shape otherwise. We don't have a great creature play next turn. I mean, reinforcements, kind of. But Chocobo just... Fat Chocobo is a good card. Good card. 5 mana, create 6/6 worth of stats, and then give all your stuff trample for a couple turns, including itself. It is very fat. Very fat. Play that. We'll play Limit Break. Unfortunately, not getting back our stuff. But we do kill your thing, and you are not growing anymore, so there. We're slowly getting to our mana. This is actually kind of a decision. We for sure play reinforcements. The question is, do we cycle Malboro? I mean, at this point of the game, it might actually be more important that we play Malboro on turn 6. We can always make the decision on swamp cycling on their turn. Like, if they don't play anything additional to board, then maybe we cycle it. I don't know. It also kind of depends on what we mill. Let's see what we mill here. We mill Tunberry, which we don't care about. We mill Lionheart, which would have helped us ping the 2/2. We mill a Swamp, which means we have 4 swamps left in deck, plus our dual land, plus Midgar. But we've already got our 3 swamps that we need for Ardyn, so we kind of don't care about that. We will gladly trade reinforcements for this 2/2 right now, even if they grow it by playing a land. The Fat Chocobo is not dying. Yeah, this is just tough. Because if we land cycle and then we... Wandering Minstrel... Oh, they don't have 8 mana yet. Oh, they're really close, though. They've got 7. That's another reason to trade off a creature, though, because we cannot afford for them to have additional creatures. Cannot afford it. Fortunately, they're not pumping out a 2/2 yet. Block the 3/2. Take 4. What's coming? And there's their 8th mana. Not great, Jim. Not great. How many towns do they control? Enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. Their whole team is getting +4/+4 next turn. I don't know that we have an out here. Malvaro doesn't do anything for us because all their creatures are going to be on us being a 4/4. What do we have? Ooh, well, if we draw into Summon Primal Garuda, then we play a 3/3. We kill their tapped creature. We kill the Chocobo, which is still living for one more turn. So that gives them one less creature. We block one of their creatures that gets pumped for at least a turn. Yeah. We're going to get 2 draws off of this. Yeah, I think we have to cycle because they're... Yeah. I don't even know if that's enough. Yeah, this is still not great. I mean, fight on, we get 2 creatures back. What are we getting back? Tunberry does nothing for us. Reinforcements mills 3 and gives us life. And we can play that the same turn as fight on. Get Malboro back to cycle again. Gross. I mean, we don't have other plays. Like, this is what we have to do. Fight on! Come on back. Come on back, reinforcements and Malboro. Gain 3 life. It's not going to matter. Because it's not going to matter. They have too much stuff. Yeah. And they have... yeah. And Chocobo is giving the trample. We just lose no matter what. Pump your team. Do it. I will congratulate you when you do it. Use 8 mana. Yes. Pump the team. Use the ability. Very nice. I will concede to your greatness. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. Yeah, land cycle to thin and increase chance of a removal spell. That's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, the problem is we don't have any removal spells. Like the only removal spell, let's go back to the battlefield for a minute. Oh, no, we left. The only, I mean, like, what are our removal spells, right? We have You're Not Alone as a makeshift removal spell, like buffing our own creature, maybe. We have Vaynot doesn't count as a removal spell because it's not even a removal spell the turn it comes in. Summon Primal Garuda is what I was hoping for because then we could, if we drew to it, then we could blow up their 4/4, their Chocobo anyway, and then that removes a creature, and it also removes the creature that gives their stuff trample. I wasn't thinking that, but I should have been thinking that anyway. And that's it. That was the problem here. There's a lot of powerful cards in here. The curve's okay, and some of the synergy's okay, especially with kind of the graveyard and, you know, the grindy retrieval stuff. But this needs early removal. That's just what we don't have. So we will scrap this deck and continue to try to play with this pool. But yes, my 2-drop slot is non-existent. That is correct. And if you notice, what else would you like to put in there? The answer is nothing. So, we could either go red-black grindy. Still don't have a great 2-drop slot there, but we do have double Thunder Magic to be able to take out some of their early stuff. We have a little bit of rummaging to be able to go get our best stuff. We have steal their spells. We have Clive at the top end and refresh the hand and that kind of stuff. And we've got Choco Comet. I mean, red has 4 pieces of removal that we don't have in this deck. In other words, the idea is scrap the white, right, and put in the red. That's definitely an option. Let me just get rid of all that stuff. We might still like splash Rufus or something, maybe, or maybe even another white card. But like, let's say we put in, some of this stuff. That's 2 bodies. Instant or sorcery. Back to our hand. I don't know that we have that many that we're going to care about, actually. We can get Choco Comet back, but we have 2 of them. That we may or may not play that. Could land cycle, maybe. Random encounter with Ardyn is interesting. Shuffle your library, mill 4 cards. Each creature milled this way, they gain haste, and then return them into their owner's hand. But that means Ardyn's combat trigger would trigger if you play this pre-combat. And then you just play Ardyn later, and you have a 5/5 sitting around. That's pretty sweet. So I might want to play that. That gets us to exactly 40. That's promising. I think I'd probably rather do this. See if we can still play Ardyn than trying to build for Atraxa. Building for Atraxa is, because everything else that we have that's powerful is multi-pipped, is almost exclusively building for Atraxa. You're probably playing Wandering Minstrel, Omega, stuff like that, but I like this better. There's a lot of power at the top. Get rid of these planes. We might not even play Rufus here. Let's see. Midgard, do we care? Well, we might care. I don't know. Something like this. But I don't know if we're going to play Rufus. We only have one way of getting a white source. We don't have ways of getting a lot of, like... yeah, this is not worth the splash. We have plenty of power. It's not worth the splash. Extra black because of Ardyn. Yes, yes. And then we play one more card. Sorceress's Schemes, I don't think we need. We just play the additional spells, and we got multiple copies of them. And Lionheart is additional removal, maybe. Do we have any death triggers on our stuff? I don't know. I'm just going to throw... I'm going to throw Lionheart in for now as my 23rd card. I'm probably going to want to play something else. Maybe Lunatic Pandora as additional, like, unconditional removal. In fact, almost certainly that's the case, because I can, in a pinch, use it to surveil for better cards. Yeah, I can ping easily with Thunder Magic, so. But I'll take a look at it again when I actually stream this deck again, which is going to be at 11 a.m. today. Question, do you focus more on sealed draft or constructed? I focus exclusively on limited, and I just started streaming with this early access event, and I'm intentionally focusing more on sealed because I don't see enough of it as a player. It's in all the competitive events, and sealed is you know, the pre-release format. It's a format for a number of competitive events. I don't see enough content about it, so I like talking about sealed and demonstrating sealed gameplay. Aether just probably wins games. Aether just probably wins games. What am I missing? Aether just probably wins games. Oh, yes, true. Aether wins games for 11 mana. And I like it more if you have trample creatures. And my question is, do I want to play Aether more than some of my other 6-drops? Like, I think a number of these 6-drops also win games, right? I mean, imagine if Random Encounter gets any one of these creatures on the board ever. Awesome, right? And the creatures themselves, also awesome. So I would run Lunatic over Vincent times 2. Let's see. Where are we? Lunatic. Oh yeah, Lunatic Pandora over Vincent times 2. Yeah. I agree with that. Let's do some more tinkering with this deck. I've got to run Coach of Practice right now, but let's do some more tinkering this deck if you rejoin me at 11, and we'll tinker and kind of mess with the last card or two here. But I definitely think we've got a core here and something that's potentially better. Thank you for the new viewers, and we'll see you later. Appreciate it.